The 1935 hurricane was a Category 5 hurricane. Up until just Hurricane Joaquin, which happened last year, it was the most powerful hurricane to ever strike North America. Winds as much as 200 miles per hour, an 18-foot storm surge tidal wave washing over the Upper Keys, and it was responsible for almost 500 deaths, pretty much wiped clean this area. Unlike today, where we have Doppler radar and we have weeks of news information, in 1935, they did not learn that the hurricane was coming for the Matacumbes until the very day of the hurricane. So at 1 o'clock, the official Weather Bureau gave the report that there was a significant hurricane coming across the Matacumbes. Now in 1934, 1935, Flagler's train wasn't bringing as much tourism down to Key West as they intended or once thought of. And one of the impediments was the trip from Miami to Key West required a 40-mile automobile ferry ride from Lower Matacumbe to No Name Key. So what they wanted to do was build a solid bridge system that would eradicate the need for that ferry system. And about 1934, early 1935, FDR's plan was to get people back to work again. And one of his projects was to have the veterans come down to the Florida Keys and help build that solid bridge system. So with the influx of all these veterans coming down to do this bridge work, we essentially doubled the population of the Upper Keys. There was lack of communication between the ferry workers and what they thought it would take to get a rescue train to come down. And by the time they arranged to have a rescue train to come down and evacuate the veterans, it was 4:30 before they started to assemble crews to get, again, a holiday weekend, to assemble the crews to get the locomotive engine fired up. On the way down, they encountered an open drawbridge. That delayed time. A large steel cable had fallen across the tracks, and that got tangled up into the train's wheels. That, again, delayed the train by another 50, 60 minutes. The train arrives about 8:05, and at 8:25, this 18-foot wall of water comes crashing over and knocks over the train. And of course, things got serious very quickly. People were whisked up in the wind, flung away. Some of these people were blown across Florida Bay. In fact, one woman ended up on Cape Sable. She was blown all the way across to Cape Sable, some 40 miles away. And these people, some of these bodies were not found for 4 weeks, 6 weeks, 8 weeks later. In the aftermath of the storm, the governor at the time made the call to have all these cremation sites up and down the island. There were in excess of 20 cremation sites from Plantation Key to Lower Matacumbe. As a result of that, there was the Florida Keys Memorial, kind of known as the Hurricane Monument today. It kind of pays tribute to all those who lost their lives in this storm. And the crypt there is filled with a lot of the ashes of those people who perished in the storm. Now, as you go over Channel 5 Bridge, you'll notice out in the water, there's a series of 8 concrete blocks out in the water. And what that was, when the veterans were here building that automobile road to eradicate the need for the automobile ferry, they were building a road that would have paralleled Flagler's Railroad. And those bridge piers, which is what they are, this is the only evidence that those veterans who lost their lives of the work they were doing. Those were actual bridge piers. The first bridge would have linked Lower Matacumbe to what is today known as Fiesta Key.